You know, he puts that husband and wife relationship in first, knowing that this is the foundation for everything. It's the first relationship we see in the Word, which first principle of first mention. That's a smart thing. That's a smart thing to pay attention to, and it gives our kids security. It is. We think that our focused attention to them is showing them how much we love them, when actually our focused attention to our relationship with our spouse is what gives them the freedom to be kids. You know, it doesn't unnecessarily burden them, feeling like they have to make us happy. A new dog home, and there's this who's alpha, who's in charge, and if the dog senses there's no human in charge, they try to be in charge. Well, you know, if you're 4, you're not equipped to be in charge. But if your parents are kowtowing to your every whim and what do you want to do and what do you think about this, sweetie, and blah, 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 the child is not equipped to handle that. And that is where we demonstrate for them that the husband and wife relationship is their security, you know, their stable basis. And so ladies, again, Proverbs 14:1, the wise woman builds her house, and the foolish tears it down with her own hands. I think there's a profound thing that's not said there. The foolish one tears it down with her own hands. Not someone comes in from the outside and tears her home down, but she tears it down with her own hands, which is indicative of the power, if you will, that we have, the influence that we have over the vibe in our home, as evidenced, you know, by our attitudes towards our husbands. And that's a sobering thing, to know that you can tear down your home with your own hands. And, you know, Chris has called me on the carpet over the years. I won't say with great frequency, but there have been times he has said, you know, you're bitter and angry, and you, whatever is bugging you, you need to deal with it and get over it, because the whole house is being affected by you know, which is a sobering thing. But that was a digression about the ladies again. So as a refresher, that it is our job, ladies, to edify our husbands, to appreciate and enjoy our husbands, not just tolerate. You know, I said this in the beginning, I don't want you to just tolerate your kids, I want you to enjoy them. And the same goes with your husbands. I mean, I meet ladies, and it's like she treats him like he's one of the kids. And, you know, immature and irritant. And I think, no, I mean, you married this man and you love him and you like him, and show your kids that you do, you know, show your kids, and don't be afraid to say, not right now, Daddy and I are talking, you know, you can wait. Years ago, we learned in this parenting course, they suggested that when Dad comes home from the work, Mom and Dad spend 15 minutes on the couch, and everything else, you just wait. And it set the tone for the kids that this is important. Mom and Dad are important. Anyway, you know, that's you may adopt that or not. But I'm not saying that's a principle we have to follow. But definitely the principle of Mom and Dad's relationship is the primary stability for our kids. And I think of it in terms of when you're on an airplane and the flight attendant's giving you the instructions, and she says, in the event of the cabin loses pressure, oxygen masks will drop down from the overhead bins, and if you're seated next to a young child or a person who needs help, put the mask on yourself first, and then put the mask on them. And we go, oh, I would always put it on my child first. Well, if you fumble around and you can't get it on you're trying to put it on your child first, and you pass out, how's your child going to get oxygen? So there is this, that we can sort of recoil against this. Oh no, my children need me, you know. I can't put my husband first, my children need me. And no, your children need you to, you know, the husband and wife relationship to be paramount. And especially with new moms who are, I'll fuss at women here for a minute again, myself included. It's real easy for us to say, oh, I'm pregnant, I couldn't possibly. Or, oh, I'm nursing, I couldn't possibly. Or, oh, I'm whatever, I couldn't possibly. I was up all night, I couldn't possibly. And we put our husbands, we have the moral high ground. I always tell Chris, he'll tell me he didn't sleep well or whatever, and I always tell him, you cannot win this argument. I nursed 7 children. I was up all hours of the night, pregnant 7 times, no sleeping. You cannot beat me, Yeah, you can never catch up. And then menopause, and it's a whole new round of, not sleeping at night and everything. But I win. I know. Just say, Uncle, I win. Oh, now I've forgotten what I was going to say. Hold on. Oh, darn, I was just really getting it. Yes. Corey remembers. He's like, where's she going with this? I don't know. We do have the moral high ground. And I'm not saying that y'all do it. I'm not saying that I did it. Let's just say I know someone who might have done this. And that is use all of our girl excuses to distance ourselves from having to invest in our relationship with our husband. And that ought not be so. And I'm not talking about just sexually. I'm talking about enjoying their company and goofing off and watching silly things. And, oh no, I need to nurse the baby. Or, oh no, I need to, work on this one's math facts. Oh no, you don't. You need to sit down with your husband and watch Jim Gaffigan. Sometimes you just do. So ladies, we have more often the trump card with all of our physical things that go on in the world. And society doesn't let the guys play the work card anymore. That's unacceptable. And so I'm just saying, girls, don't use your girl trump card, invest in your husband, invest in the relationship with your husband. Because I'll tell you that it's hard to believe right now when they're all under your feet 24/7. The permanent relationship in a family is the husband and wife, not the children. Now, that doesn't end, but it does morph because they go off and have their own husband or wife. And so you don't want to neglect that, certainly for the long haul, and that would not be God's plan, and for the stability of your kid. What are you saying? Oh, for the stability of your kids. That is where your primary investment should be. And let me just say, lest there be any guilt, some people hear, oh, I got to invest in my relationship. That probably means date nights and da-da-da-da-da. And it can, or it can't. There were most of our years as a young family that we couldn't afford a date night. I mean, for real, to go to McDonald's and get $1 ice cream cone was a big deal. And but we spent time together doing Bible study or just sitting at the table, each of us doing our Bible study, and that was our date night. So I'm not saying, oh, we'll have to go off on a weekend. I'm not saying those kinds of things. I'm saying just invest in the relationship between them for the benefit of your children and the benefit of you. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So we have a little bit of time for questions. If you are having some challenges, or you want some troubleshooting, or you want to set your little camera up in the kitchen and film your kids, I'll be the nanny and, evaluate. Yes, sir.
In regard to setting our kids up for failure or success, she's about to turn 2. Mm-hmm. And so what we started doing, she wants to be involved and incorporated in things. And so we've started to bring over one of her small chairs to give her a step stool to look while we're cooking things on the bar. Cutting up carrots and mixing things, mashed potatoes, so on and so forth. But now she started to get the courage to bring that chair to places she wants to go on other counter areas, oils, supplements, knives, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Are we setting them up for success, allowing them to step on that chair to observe us and watch us cook, knowing that they can, use that chair for other things on other parts of the counter where it's not acceptable? Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. As long as you're clear that this chair goes right here. These oils, these knives, this is not safe for you, and you can't go here. And then you have to treat that with the same level of respect as you would if they had a fork and they were heading towards the socket. I mean, you have to come down hard on her, every single time. It just, you won't be allowed to get over here with the oils, which means if someone's got something you need to get your oils and administer to someone in your family, she cannot be there helping you because it is not safe. And it isn't safe. It's just like, the chemicals, and as far as their physical safety. And so you just have to, I think you'd be surprised. I know you'd be surprised. I know all of us would be surprised. When we get to heaven, God's going to explain to us the things our dogs knew and the things our young children knew, and we'll go, wow, we should have started earlier, But she can learn. Mommy and Daddy invite me to participate with them here, but this is not safe for me, and therefore Mommy and Daddy are not going to let me go here. And she will be able to tell the difference. I promise you she can tell the difference because she already sees, oh, this is different over here, and Mommy goes over here, and I wonder what this is. Now, maybe you just need a little more time educating. These are things that help us to stay healthy, but if we don't use them correctly, they're very serious, and so you can't get there. And, until you can measure her obedience to those kinds of direct instructions in safer areas, and it might be that until she's proven herself trustworthy to obey your limits in other areas, you might want to move those because that's a significant thing. You wouldn't leave your chemicals out. You wouldn't leave your other medications out. You understand what I mean? You might test her on it. But I think you are...
remove the dangerous things for now until we see the acceptable behavior. Come back and we can make those things out on the counter more convenient for us.
For you, yeah. Because you don't want a home where there's nothing anywhere lest a child touch it. Children can learn to keep their hands off of things. Mm-hmm. But my point about this is, like, if I had delicate things on here, the worst that happens is a child breaks it. Mm-hmm. In the case of something like medications or oils, the child could get sick. And so, but I think it's great that you're inviting her to participate and learn and, with a limit.
Yeah. That's another thing, like she wants to help with chores.
Uh-huh.
So she wants to help with laundry and dishes and stuff. And so with the dishes I've been trying to teach her, she can only help me with like the plastic dishes, the ones I hand her.
Yeah.
She can't grab it out herself, but if I hand it to her, she can hold it, and then I'll show her where the cabinet is, and she hands it to me, and I put it away.
Yeah.
So just trying to intentionally teach her, this is okay, this is not okay.
Right.
So we've only broke one dish so far.
Well, but you see, you're doing such a good thing because you're teaching her she's part of the family, and she contributes, and on your terms, because you're the parent. You know what's safe. You don't want this thing broken. And even, sometimes you break something, you get hurt with break. However, I think you can stack the deck in your favor by limiting choices. Now, if you've already, like a lot of moms are a short order cook, and whatever the kids want, that's, they'll just prepare that. So I don't know what the situation is there, what the prior situation has been. But kids do go through stages where I just soon have M&Ms and brownies, as opposed to really wonderful food that's wonderful for me. And so kids go through those stages too. However, if we capitulate too much, we limit their world to these, 3 or 4 kind of things that they like, and we don't want to limit their world. But I'll tell you now, you can't force a kid to eat. I mean, you just can't. And so I might recommend you have to eat, like if it's green beans, you have to eat this one, or you have to eat this half of one, bearing in mind you cannot force them to do it. And we tried just give it to them again the next meal, and when they're hungry enough they'll eat it. We were never very successful doing that. So my recommendation is, in all the other areas of your life, get her obeying and doing what you say, and getting the idea that what Mommy and Daddy say goes, and the battleground over food will be lesser. Not that it will go away, but I would say have your expectations small. You have to taste this one pea. Yeah, you just have to try it, because kids will spit it up. They'll throw it up. You just never know what's going to happen. Some women, well, this probably won't score me any points. Some people feel needed and loved and validated by serving everyone their own thing. I do not. Maybe that's because we had a bunch of kids and it was like I couldn't do that. But I think, no, I want you to grow into an adult who can go to someone's house, and if you need to eat something you're not crazy about, you're not going to perish. Just have a little tiny serving, and when you get home, have yourself a peanut. Yep. So anyway, I just think we should work to expand our kids' world.